The elevator doors opened with a soft ding, but the weight in Emily Carter's chest was anything but light. The private floor of the luxurious rehab center gleamed under the morning sun, polished marble and soft gold fixtures whispering of wealth she could never comprehend. Her heart pounded like it always did when she was nervous, which, honestly, was most of the time. Clutching her clipboard tightly, she stepped out, smoothing the creases in her pale blue uniform. She didn't belong here, she knew that. But today, something told her, this day would change everything. It wasn't the elegance of the hallway that gave her pause, nor the guarded stares of the security by the suite entrance. It was the moment she stepped inside the grand room, and saw the elderly woman, sitting by the window, alone, her wrinkled hands motioning gently in the air. No one around understood her. The staff had labeled her difficult. But Emily saw something entirely different. She saw loneliness, misunderstanding, a woman trapped in silence. And so, without thinking, the shy young nurse did something no one else had. She walked over, knelt by her side, and greeted her in sign language. Before we continue, if you believe in the power of the beauty of, and how a small act can change a, please take a moment to onto our channel. It helps us tell more real, emotional stories like this one. Emily Carter wasn't supposed to be on this floor. She wasn't one of the elite private nurses assigned to high-profile patients. In fact, she wasn't supposed to be working that day at all. But someone had called in sick, and the head nurse, already annoyed and understaffed, had thrown her the assignment with a wave of her hand and a warning. She's deaf, she's stubborn, and her son is rich and always watching. Don't mess up. Emily hadn't expected much. Probably another wealthy patient used to getting their way, she thought. But from the moment she saw Mrs. Eleanor Blackwell, she knew this wasn't a woman who wanted things. She was a woman who needed to be heard. She sat by the window, her thin figure wrapped in a blanket, her eyes sharp and full of depth. The other nurses had told Emily not to bother trying to talk to her. She never responded, never engaged. But Emily had been raised differently. Her younger brother, Adam, had been born deaf. While most families stumbled through frustration, Emily had learned to sign when she was just 10 years old. To her, silence wasn't absence. It was language. So when Emily knelt beside Mrs. Blackwell and gently signed, "Good morning, my name is Emily. I'm your nurse today," the elderly woman's entire body stilled. Her hands trembled. Her eyes, once dulled by loneliness, filled with tears. She lifted her hands slowly and replied in sign, "No one has spoken to me in weeks." What Emily didn't know was that someone had seen the entire exchange. Across the suite, partially hidden behind the ornate double doors, stood Nathaniel Blackwell, the CEO of Blackwell Innovations, a tech conglomerate worth billions. Most called him cold, ruthless, unapproachable. The tabloids painted him as a heartless workaholic who tossed money at problems. But none of them knew the man who stayed up late searching for the best care facilities. None of them saw the way his jaw clenched every time his mother ignored him, believing he was just another voice she couldn't hear. He had watched dozens of nurses come and go, watched his mother shrink deeper into isolation. And then, this shy, unassuming nurse walked in, signed a simple greeting, and broke through a wall no one else could. Nathaniel felt something twist in his chest, something he hadn't felt in years. Hope. Over the next few days, Emily became the only person Eleanor would communicate with. She helped her eat, walk, and even started translating entire conversations with the doctors. Emily didn't ask for extra pay. She didn't know who the woman's son was. She just cared. And Eleanor flourished under her presence. What began as simple gestures became deep, wordless conversations. They laughed, they cried. One afternoon, Eleanor signed, "You remind me of my younger self. Brave, even when afraid." Emily blushed, unsure how to respond. Brave, she didn't feel brave. She was the quiet nurse who ate lunch alone, who froze when supervisors barked orders. But, around Eleanor she felt seen, needed. And yet, something gnawed at her. Every so often, she noticed a tall man in a suit standing at the edge of the room or watching through the glass from the hallway. He never introduced himself. Just observed. She assumed he was a doctor or perhaps a visiting relative. But what she didn't realize, what no one had told her, was that he was Nathaniel Blackwell, and he was falling for her, not in the romantic sense. At first, it was deeper than that. He saw her integrity, her gentleness, her strength in silence. In a world obsessed with power and status, Emily was a quiet storm of grace. He found himself lingering longer just to see her smile, found himself wondering what her life outside this hospital looked like. Then, one day, everything changed. Eleanor had a bad fall. The doctors panicked. She was rushed for scans. The staff swarmed like bees, speaking over her, around her, ignoring her. Eleanor's hands flailed, trying to ask what was happening. Fear clutched her face. Emily pushed through the chaos, grabbed her hands, and signed firmly, "You're safe. I'm here. You're going to be okay." And just like that, Eleanor calmed. Later that evening, after the emergency passed, Emily found a note in her locker. No name. Just a handwritten message. "Thank you for giving my mother her voice back. You've done what money never could." Below it was a card: Nathaniel Blackwell, CEO, Blackwell Innovations. Emily nearly dropped it. Her legs went numb. The man she had seen in the hall, that was him. For a week, she heard nothing. No more calls to the private floor. No more interactions with Eleanor. She feared she had overstepped. That maybe her kindness had been mistaken for meddling. Her heart ached. Not for the missed opportunity, but for Eleanor. She missed her friend. Then, on a rainy Friday morning, she was called into the director's office. She walked in, soaked from the storm, expecting reprimand. Instead, she found Nathaniel waiting. He stood, offering a small smile, an unfamiliar softness in his typically hardened expression. He said he wanted to thank her in person. That his mother had requested she be made her permanent caregiver, not through the hospital, but privately, with full benefits, housing, and a salary that made Emily's jaw drop. Emily stammered, unsure. Why her? She was just a nurse. A quiet, ordinary girl who had never stood out. Nathaniel looked her in the eye and said something she would never forget.